What it do, comic bros? It's your boy, Super Duper Sean, and I'm back with another video. And today, we got to get into some news about Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Because I got an article brought to you by Bleeding Cool on the Russos and how it is being shot and some news about it. So, before I get into that, I need y'all to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I already feel like I'm talking too much. So without further ado, let's get it. The Russo brothers say that Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars have stories that will be challenging for audiences. It's all the rage to shoot movies back to back these days, or it feels that way. Sometimes it makes sense when you have a cast that is massive, and it could be next to impossible to get everyone back for round two. You need to move heaven and earth to get cast, like the ones we'll see for Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, all in one place long enough to even finish the films in the first place, let alone trying to make it happen twice. So when Anthony and Joe Russo revealed to Deadline recently that they are filming both of the next two Avengers films back to back, no one should be that surprised. Joe Russo also said they may or may not survive, and they have a story that they think will be challenging for audiences. It's all in London. We're shooting them fairly back to back. It's a lot of work again. We may or may not survive. We'll see, Joe Russo said, but we're very excited about it. We found a way into the story that we think is going to be challenging for audiences. It's challenging for us to execute, and it's really exciting for us. It gets us out of bed to do it. You can say a lot about Marvel bringing back the Russo brothers for Doomsday and Secret Wars. And trust me, we have. But these movies have always been too big for one director. They should have been considering pairs from day one. So it's not surprising they are going back to the pair that worked the first couple of times around. Over the summer, word came that Marvel and Disney were courting Anthony and Joe Russo to return and direct the next two Avengers films. It made sense in a way. They were coming off a year that didn't exactly go to plan, and no doubt they wanted to go with what they thought would be the safest option. It turned out that the reports were spot on, and they were announced as the directors at San Diego Comic-Con. That was also where we learned that Robert Downey Jr. would be coming back as Dr. Doom, and it became very clear that Marvel was playing it safe by returning to what worked the first time. In December 2024, it was announced that Chris Evans would reportedly have some sort of role in the film as well, but it's unclear what kind of role he would have. A few days later, it was also reported that Haley Atwell was also in talks to return as well. Avengers Doomsday is set to start production this spring and will be released in theaters on May 1st, 2026. Secret Wars is set to release May 7, 2027. Shout out to Caitlin Booth for the article. Big up to Bleeding Cool for the article. My thoughts. At least they're not shooting this back to back to save finances. You know what I'm saying? Because wouldn't that be such a bummer to hear, yo, we're like, 2 years away from shooting, and they're already trying to figure out ways to cut back on production costs. So they're just like, yo, we're just going to film it back to back. On the other hand, it seems like it's going to be rushed. I actually feel putting them a year apart maybe a little too much, you know? Let the first one marinate. Let Doomsday marinate. Unless it ends on that cliffhanger like Avengers Infinity War, then I can see. But if we look at Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame was shot back to back, and there's a massive quality difference. I don't care what you say. Endgame was alright, but it is not Infinity War. Nope, I don't care. It is nowhere near Infinity War. And it was shot back to back, you know? I feel like if they would have let it breathe a little bit, we would have got a better movie. And that's all I'm about, is how do we get the best product? Let's go back in history. Movies that were shot back to back. Back to the Future, Part 2, Part 3. I don't care what you say. Ain't none of them Back to Future 1. Ain't none of them 1. 2, 3, straight garbage. Straight garbage. Anaconda 3 and Anaconda Trails of Blood. Ain't none of them Anaconda 1. Both of them garbage. Shot back to back. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. Dead Man's Chest, fire. Shout out my boy Davy Jones. At World's End, I mean, forgettable. The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, Part 1, fire. The Mockingjay, Part 2, forgettable. The Hobbit series, though, I think those were all filmed, all 3 of them filmed at one. No, the Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings. All filmed at the same time, nailed it. Now, they had the source material to go off. They had a novel. Yes, Secret Wars is a comic. Yes, Doomsday is somewhat of a comic where they're pulling it from. But Marvel don't do direct adaptations. I wish they did do direct adaptations, because we would have got a way better Marvel What If season 1, 2, and 3. But hey, that's neither here or there. So when I hear about movies being shot back to back and I look at history, woo, I tend to get a little nervous, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I tend to get a little nervous. Now, they're telling us it's not for budget cuts. It's not for budget reasons, budget expenses. It's because we can't get everybody there at the same time, which to me is crazy because they signed up for this. Marvel Studios is probably the most known film production company in America. And you mean you can't get all your actors on one page? Come on, man. Come on. Stop it. This is probably the biggest movie that they're doing in their careers. Those Marvel characters that they play, for a lot of those actors, are the bread and butter of their careers. It's what they're most known for. So stop playing with me. Could they be lying, y'all? What do y'all think? Could they be lying? And are you guys worried about the Russos' decision to shoot Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars back to back? I don't know. To me, it sounds like it's for expenses. You know what I'm saying? But I'm your boy, Super Duper Deuces.